Hey guys, this is Quinn with Gold Street Realty. I have here my awesome first-time home buyer Kelly and my amazing lender Brittany. We just wanted to hop on real quick because today is one of the most special days in any person's life. She is officially a homeowner, first-time home buyer. She's got the keys.
A lot of them.
So we just wanted to take a time. Normally whenever I make these kind of posts, I just want to educate everyone else out there that may be looking to purchase a home and also kind of educate what else is going on in the market and what is possible. Despite all the doom and gloom and the negativity that is all in the newspapers about the market is booming. Brittany's getting pre-approvals left and right every single day. I have buyers coming in all the time. So don't listen to any of that. This is going to be a story that I think a lot of you will relate to and maybe inspire for some of you that might be on the fence or maybe even considering purchasing your first home. So I'd like to open up a little bit with just a little bit how we met. I think we met back in, what was it, August?
Yeah, around August. I started out with a gentleman named Freddie, but he referred me to Quinn because he's a little more specialized in the FHA industry. And that's kind of where we started is, the merge over to Quinn. And he's helped me out, kept giving me options no matter what, even if we weren't in contact. So we weren't really in contact for a little while there. And then he checked up on me in New Year's. And shortly after that, I kind of was like, hey, I'm looking to start shopping again. Do you think you can help me out? Because I think the market is in our favor.
Yeah, and then that time whenever, because I know I was still sending you some properties and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but I think we were kind of waiting to save up some more funds and kind of get some things. Because keep in mind, whenever we first started working together, it was around August of last year in 2022, and that's whenever the market shifted completely. The last 2 years, it's been crazy. I mean, you guys, everyone knows by now, the market was just white hot, and at that time, there was really nothing that really met your needs and was available. So I think it kind of worked out great. So we took some time, saved up some more money, kind of saw what was, going on in the market as a couple weeks went by, checking in here and there. But yeah, New Year's is around the time that I
Yep.
think we kind of touch base again one more time to see. And actually, if you don't mind, would you mind telling them a little bit about like where you were at around that time?
So around that time, I was kind of like, yeah, I think I can afford a home. And so I was getting a little excited, looking at houses, looking, thinking, what can I afford? And then I started talking with Brittany here. So Quinn actually referred me to Brittany. So whenever we were getting a little bit more serious about it, so in January, we got back in contact with Quinn. Well, I got back in contact with Quinn, and we started talking about the buying process and how it works and what houses are available. And it kind of popped in my head that maybe I want to move up north. So the more that I thought about that, I was kind of like, okay, well, that's probably not a short-term goal because I need more experience at my job. I need more money to do that. The expense of moving is, expensive to move up north. And then not only that, you have to deal with vehicles and all of that stuff. So the more that I thought about it, the more I thought it would be long-term. So I decided to still stay here. As the market was coming down and becoming more favorable to me, instead of just going up north because the houses were cheaper or because we have family up there. We have a lot more family down here and our jobs are down here, so we don't have to relocate or anything, so that made it easier.
Yeah, and I remember that we talked about too. At that time, we had gone from clearly a seller's market the last 2 years to where, even though it is still technically a seller's market based on inventory, there was a lot more favorability for buyers, especially for you, a lot more options with offers, how to structure offers, different programs, which Brittany will get into in here just a second, and just overall a better shot at getting into the market, getting your foot in the door, no
Right,
pun
yeah.
intended. But I think that, between you and I having that little bit of a meeting of the minds, seeing what was best for you,
Right.
I think we made a good decision
Yeah.
given where we're at now. But yeah, so we were able to get you reapproved. You were originally pre-approved through your bank or
Yeah.
so. That was right. Yeah, your bank. And, just out of, seeing all your options, I got you in touch with Brittany
Yeah.
just to see, because, options are always best. So,
Right.
Brittany, would you mind discussing a little bit about how that went?
Yes. Quinn told me to get a hold of Kelly, so I, of course, reached out right away. And at that time, she was kind of, still a little bit on the edge of, do I want to buy right now? Can I afford it? And what is that going to look like for me? And so we went over all of her options. She was able to afford more home going the FHA route. So that is the way we went. And then what was really great about her situation is that she set herself up in such a great credit scenario and debt to income scenario to where we were able to get her qualified for the Florida Housing Down Payment Assistance Program, which is $10,000 towards her down payment and closing costs.
Yeah, who wouldn't want $10,000 for essentially free money going towards their closing costs?
Right.
That's a huge help.
As a first-time home buyer, why would you not want to utilize those programs out there? So we, of course, anyone that applies with me, I always look at every program, and especially the Florida Housing Down Payment Assistance, because I specialize in it. I've been doing it for a long time, and I love what the end result ends up being, which is less money out of your pocket. So we went over all the numbers. She was a little hesitant at first. I can go back and think about some of the text messages that I sent to you with a breakdown of all your monthly bills, what it would look like monthly, what the payment would probably be. And eventually she came around and realized, you know what, she told me she had to go over the numbers multiple times, write them all down, make sure she could afford it.
Yeah.
And then she was like, okay, let's do this. So it's really been a super awesome experience, smooth process.
One of the things I would like to highlight a little bit, just because, again, we're filming this because this was such a home run scenario all the way around. When we went under contract, not only did we come in with $10,000 from the down payment assistance program that Brittany was able to hook us up with, we were also able to get seller's concessions as well. So for anyone out there that's like, I don't have enough cash to bring to closing, right now in this market, despite interest rates and all of that stuff, the way we're able to combat that a little bit is getting money from seller proceeds to help towards our monthly payments or getting our foot in the door. And that's exactly what we did. We had 10 grand from down payment assistance, and then we were able to get another 3 grand from sellers who were willing to contribute towards her closing costs. And I think the best part about it as well, one of the best things, she beat out multiple offers. And yes, I said multiple offers because yes, that is still happening in today's market. Not only did she beat out multiple offers, but she paid less than asking. So that kind of tells you, there were other multiple offers that were probably above, more than likely, and yet we still were able to get some things done and win that, battle, essentially.
So cool.
So we got that, and then now walking into her new home, she walked in with almost 10 grand in equity. So, it's just, all the way around, this whole deal, this whole process has been completely smooth with the help of Brittany and all of her programs and all of her knowledge and expertise on the lending side. Kelly being the real trooper here, because she's the star. She's the one. This is all about her. Sticking it out, putting her nose down, setting herself up financially, doing the work necessary, and to obtain, probably one of your biggest financial assets you'll ever own, which is the dream. That's the American dream, is to buy a house. So I think that the combination of all three of us working together was just amazing, at least in my opinion. And we just wanted to share with you guys just, what's possible. And I guess for anyone else out there that is watching this or has any questions or anything like that, what are some of your thoughts or tips for them?
Whenever I first started, the first thing, like Brittany said, that I was worried about is whether or not I could afford it. I literally sat down and I calculated, okay, so I took the last 2 months of what I've been doing with my finances, and then I calculated it like I already had a home to see what I could afford. And whenever I did that, I had to do it multiple times because I kept getting scared, really. I kept getting scared, of course, and so I had to do it multiple times just to, calm myself down and be like, you can do this. There's no reason why you're freaking out. So I had to sit down and do that a lot. I had to make sure that I had a stable job for a long time that gave me good pay. So I also recommend having at least 10 grand in savings, not just for the closing costs, because they can come down significantly like they did in my case. Like, I believe we started with a number like 8 grand and we ended on a number of 3,700. So that's the amount that I ended up having to, hand over for the house.
Yeah.
And let's
at
just pause
first.
right there. How much money did you have to pay to get into this house?
3,700.
So, like, what is that? First, last, and month, and,
Yeah.
and a security deposit in an apartment or in a home, rental home, that you're paying someone else's mortgage rather than building your own equity.
Right, yeah,
Yep.
and that's one of the first things I said to Quinn before we did the final walkthrough. I was like, this is the first place I've ever lived on my own. I've never rented from anybody. The most rent I've ever paid was living at, in someone's house in a room, and that was $150 a month.
Yeah.
But I've never paid for somebody else's mortgage and then some to live in a 1-bedroom home. So I've never done that.
So this is huge.
Yeah, this is huge, being the first place I've ever had. So it is scary, but it's definitely a lot easier than you may think, depending on your situation.
Yeah,
of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess to tie it up, what would be, if you had to tell them where to start or how to begin, what would you recommend to anyone watching this?
I recommend looking at your credit first. Looking at your credit and looking at your job. Those are the two most important factors. You need to make sure that the job that you have is stable. You need to make sure that your credit you have no hiccups in your credit. And if you do, that's okay. You just need to make sure that from now on, you're budgeting right and paying all your bills on time. You just really need to keep a close eye on it. Like, I monitor my accounts like crazy. I've never been late on anything because I knew that this day would come. It took me 3 years to get here. Yeah. So if you just keep watching your accounts, keep making those, financial decisions, you can get here in 3 years.
Yeah.
And this is my second job. So it's like 3 years is all it is, really.
For sure.
Yeah.
And who are you going to call?
Quinn and Brittany.
Anything that you have, any real estate questions or anything like that you might have, definitely feel free. I'll have my number, my email, and all my contact info down in the bottom of the description of this video, and as well as Brittany's as well.